single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey everybody, it's Kulipup here. So we're going to talk about the entities of fear and the demons and entities that you may come across in the next coming period. So we have, now I'm going to go through them by name. They may not reveal their name to you. If they do reveal their name to you, say my name. Then it's like, yeah, because as soon as you say my name, the ethereal vessel that is right beside you, that is me, you will basically be requesting my power, and I see them and I will vanquish them for you, right? Or at least bind them and put them under some control or whatever like that, so that they don't affect you very much. You can also call out Master Amishtal, Master Lukaust, and Master Lupe also. Master Orslon is currently in silence or reflection as well, so he is busy. But the other three masters, please feel free to call upon them, and they will also do the same. So the kind of entities that you can expect to see. Prime entity number 1 is the entity Kulipa. Now, Kulipa, I always refer to her as a she. That is because I am in my female energy. However, she is gender neutral. So she'll come to you as a guy, a girl, doesn't matter. Kulipa is in her true form is just simply black. I mean like onyx black, porcelain black, if you want to call it. If you're an individual who's ever seen shadow people, Kulipa looks a lot like that, but a little bit more defined. Often, she will come to you within your own image, right? So if you are a guy, she'll look just like you. Or, you know that movie Us? You know, by, I forget what he is, but you know where it's just like, oh yeah, they look just like you and so forth, but they're like trying to kill you kind of thingy. Well, not in the material, but anyway. So Kulipup is literally the god of death, all right? As I am the god of life, she's the opposite, the god of death, and together we complete the yin-yang circle. So wherever life goes, of course, it only lasts for so long in this material world, because decay does set in, creating a pathway for new life to emerge and new development and progression to come through. However, if you have an imbalance within life and death, what happens though is death takes over, and if there's too much death and not enough life, then of course we know that is just decay and it comes to an end, disease and so forth like that. And this is what we are trying to rid the world of, is the imbalance within the god of death and the god of life, which is I am now going to overtake, and because I'm teaching you all how to live in life and how to be here for as long as you wish to be here, how to utilize your energy, how to gain it so that you can stay within your element, which is life. Anyway, so Kulipa is the god of death. Now, coming to you in any form. Now, what Kulipa's main goal to do, though, is to trigger confusion within you and to amplify your fears. Now, however that fear comes, it doesn't matter. Every single form of fear is within the element of Kulipa, right? So the way I explained it when I was teaching my daughter was, in this game of life, there are two sides, all right? There are two sides to the game of life, and I don't have any paper. So on this side, you have life, and on this side, you have death, okay? So this is your game board. Your element is life. You need to be within your element, so you need to play the game of life over here. However, death is on the other side of the board, right? So if you have eternal amounts of energy that you can constantly increase and utilize, right, to live and experience and to develop and to grow, right, you want to spend your time within the life side of the board. However, if you are in fear And that fear comes in any way: insecurity, lack of self-love, anger, confusion, thinking too much in the past, thinking too much in the future. You know, anything that is not on this life side game piece is playing within the side of death. Now, when you are playing within life, right, your energy is amplified on a regular basis. Life is love, right? Life is light. Life is about experiencing in that moment, because we are, of course, within the forever now moment, right? So when you live in the present, you are living in love and you are living in life, because fear doesn't take place in the present, right? It only takes place in the past or the future, right? And up here. So anytime you are not living here, you are living in death. Now, your energy, whenever you spend energy in death, you don't get that back. That energy is gone, right? And if you keep spending your energy in the death side of the game board, you will eventually just run out, and that is when you die and your game is ended, right? You've failed at the game of life, which we all have a million times with, and we just keep reincarnating with the power of our fractals. So anyway, so we want to play in the game of life all the time, and the more you are over on this side of the board, the more power you actually generate, and you just get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So this is the point or the purpose of the game of life. So, so basically, Kulipa is the one that controls death, and she is always, again, androgynous. She can be man or woman, but she will always try to promote your fear. All right, to keep you in this death side, right? Because it's all about, like, who's gonna get enough power, right? Like, who's gonna get it? So any fear that you have, she is going to amplify within you, right? Triggers the confusion and then amplifies whatever that fear is. So, and I mean, it is very precise. A lot of people think that fear is just something that really gives you, like, oh, I'm scared of spiders. Oh, I'm scared of ghosts. Woo, you know, like, no, fear comes in every form that is not love, right? When you doubt yourself, doubt is a form of fear. Confusion is a form of fear, because if you are living in life and living in love, then that is truth also, right? So if you have confusion, that means that there's an alternate to the truth, which is a lie, which is fear, right? So anywho, that is Kulipa. Now, Kulipa, when you close your eyes again, porcelain black, the eyes, though, will give you a signification. And this is with any entity that you may see. The eyes give you a signification as to what part of your fear she is feeding on. So, for example, if I see her eyes and they are red with yellow, right? It means that the red is part of my root chakra point, which means that I'm being too earthly. There is an earthly fear, something to do with this vessel, specifically here. Because remember, we're beings of light. We're multi-dimensional. We shouldn't have a super attachment to our vessel. It's our home for the current status, you know, while we are playing this game of life. But we've had millions of vessels over countless lifetimes, right? As a collective. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So it means that this fear is triggered by this vessel specifically. However, if she's got yellow around, like in the, around, you know, where you have the white parts, you know, or anything like that, it means that it is this fear of the vessel that is drawing energy from the solar plexus as well, right? So you know, like, where the energy is being drawn and for what. If the eyes are, for example, you know, I'll tell you that and so forth. So really get to know the colors of your chakra points, not necessarily your chakra, but your chakra points, right? Because that will be the signification as to where it is happening. So if, so Kulipa will often come and pay attention with the hair too. So one of my things recently, or the forms that Kulipa was taking, because it will take the form of whatever it is. They don't have a choice, right? If your energy is giving off this specific kind of fear, that's the form they're going to take. So the most recent time that Kulipa had come to me, she had a blonde blonde hair, but it was very modest style. Like think of 1950s housewife kind of style with a very 1950s dress. Now the dress was turquoise with spotted, with yellow spots in it. And again, very conservative. Modest was the word that came to me. So, and again, porcelain black skin with red lips. So what this tells me is that, well, my entity of fear is feeding off of my solar plexus because, of course, the length of the hair tells you how long they have been feeding off of this energy. And at the time, hair was about shoulder length. So it's been for a minute. So yellow hair is feeding off the solar plexus. The dress was blue, which means expression. Expression and with the yellow dot. So primarily expression, but also from the solar plexus. Now the solar plexus is where you get your energy in the material, right? Your heart is where you get your energy in the ethereal, which then transmute into the material, which is where which comes out through your solar plexus. So at the end of the day, she was feeding on my lack of expression, my lack of truth, that I was lying to myself. Watch my other video on, when I'm opening up to understand what I was lying to myself about. So she was feeding on that, right? And the style of her dress, though, again, 1950s, very modest, right? So I also realized that not only is she feeding on the fact that I was lying to myself, but it was because of my modesty, because I was being too modest, with the lips being red. That is of earth, of the root as well, right? So how I deduced this was, okay, well, there's something about me that I'm being way too modest, and it's because of an earthly ideal that I get from this vessel, right? However, she's feeding off of the energy, and the information she's gaining is reflected through the length of her hair, right? How long she's been feeding off of this, right? And the dots within the dress, again, signify that there's energy from my throat and my solar plexus. They're not, because the solar plexus is, of course, from the material. It means that I am not expressing myself into the material, right? I'm keeping it up here way too much. So with that was just the clue for me. Like right there, I got it. And I'm like, I'm being too modest. I'm not expressing myself. What is it that I'm lying to myself about? Right? And then modesty. What am I modest about? Well, those are all there's a lot of things I'm modest about, to be honest with you, which I need to express, right? Sometimes I have this proper urge to, I'm taking the ferry trip or something, and it's like a 35-minute ferry. I'll have my headphones on, and there's plenty of times that I'm just like, you know what? I want to bust a freaking move because I'm listening to some really great tunes, and start doing yoga or something. But you're in public and so forth, and I don't want to. So I was being too modest, not really doing it. There's plenty of times when I'm on that ferry and Master Luke House is just like, all right, let's go through a sentience flow. But here's the thing. When I do a sentience flow with Master Luke House, I have a sword normally. And we're doing kicks, or we're doing things like that. And what comes into my mind is like, oh my gosh, imagine this lady, a melanated lady, by the way. And I know some people are like, oh, that doesn't make a difference. Well, no, it really, really does. And the fact that if you don't believe that, it is like you're lying to yourself in that way. But you have a melanated lady who's doing martial arts on a ferry whilst busting a move to some cool R&B tunes, and so forth. So it does draw a lot of attention, right? Whilst doing yoga. So it does draw a lot of attention. And I had to say to myself, I'm like, well, why? Why am I being so modest? Because I'm not doing anything wrong. And so what if people stare, right? So what if people stare? So anyway, I've rectified this, and I've said, screw it, I'm just going to do what I want to do anyway. And recently I've been singing on the fairy, I've been dancing on the fairy, I've been doing yoga on the fairy. I haven't done a full sentience flow yet, but that's just because I'm tired anyway. So as soon as I realized what Kulipa was trying to do, I halted that, right? But that's what she will do though. But mind you, that's how you can kind of tell what she's trying to do or where she's feeding off of that fear. Otherwise, what she would try to do is just feed into that insecurity I would have had about dancing on the fairy and singing on the fairy, and doing all those kinds of things. And the more I suppress myself through that fear, the stronger she would get. The stronger she would get, the more confusion would come into my mind. The more confusion comes into my mind, it allows her to amplify and go on to other things, to make other connections, right, of fear within me and amplify anything else. So that is Kulipa. Now, how do you thwart Kulipa? Well, you simply need to do your inner work and you need to understand what it is. I'm very, very quick with my deduction. I am. As soon as I see fear, I don't run away from it. I literally face it. I face Kulipa and I analyze what it is she's wearing, what it is she's doing, like literally what she looks like in every form. And if I don't do that, or if I can't see for any reason, I always can see, but if I can't see for any reason, I then analyze, well, what's the speech like? Kulipa will always sound like you. She wants to try to make you believe that you are her, right? Or you are it, that you are death, right? Because if she is able to infiltrate your thoughts and whisper into your ear, right? And make you believe that the thoughts that she is implanting are yours, that's when she will be able to claim your vessel, right? But I'm like, nah, screw that shit. Like, you call my name out, and I'll be like, nah, your vessel's under my protection now, right? And she can't do anything when it comes to that, right? It's only with your consent of your fear and you taking the bait that she can do anything. But as soon as you are aware of it, halt it. Halt it as soon as you can. If you find that you are fearful of something, get over that fear. Relinquish it. Let it go. All right? Because the more you hold on to it and not address it, the stronger Kulipa will get. So, and the stronger she gets, the more energy she takes from you. And that is when you are playing on the board of death. The longer you remain here, the faster your lifespan gets taken from you. Okay, so that's the ultimate goal of Kulipa. She wants you to stay within this board until you are gone, right? And so she's going to try to get as many game pieces, fractals, as she can during this harvest period, right? And this is why I'm countering that, trying to get as many game pieces or fractals as I can to live in love and life so that we can all be in life. Anyway, so that is Kulipa, the god of death, right? Very powerful, very sly, very conniving, but also a mimic. She will mimic you exactly, but don't let it, or you don't ever believe that you are it. So whenever a thought comes through and it's not one that is love and light, if it doesn't feel good, if that's like, oh, that's a really positive thought. Like, if it's not that, question it. Just be like, wait a second. That wasn't a very, very positive thought there. Like, what's going on here? That wasn't me. And know that it's not you, right? If you are a source fractal of love and light, trust me, there's no need for you to ever have negative thoughts, because it's just not within you to have negative thoughts. It's a waste of energy. So if you're having negative thoughts, it is the insanity, which we call fear, which is also known as Kulipa, the god of death. So next, we're going to talk about a few other ones. So I'll catch you there. Oh, maybe.